El Radio Phoenix presents World News in 5, hosted by Jack Storm, Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining us around the world. I'm Jack Storm, and this is World News in 5, exclusively on El Radio Phoenix. Today, we'll cover the latest headlines from the United States, around the world, Latin America and the Caribbean, business and markets, weather, sports, today's dumbass of the day, and more. Let's get started. America Today. Washington continues its summer legislative session with immigration, border security, federal spending, and trade policy remaining among the top priorities. Financial markets are closely watching upcoming economic reports for fresh clues about inflation, job growth, and whether the Federal Reserve may adjust interest rates later this year.
Investors remain cautiously optimistic despite continued global uncertainty. Across the western United States, firefighters remain on the front lines battling major wildfires fueled by extreme heat, dry vegetation, and gusty winds. Emergency officials continue urging residents in fire-prone areas to remain prepared for rapidly changing conditions. Meanwhile, emergency management agencies along the Gulf Coast and throughout Florida continue reminding residents that August marks one of the busiest months of the Atlantic hurricane season. Officials recommend reviewing evacuation routes, replenishing emergency supplies, and staying informed throughout the season. World Watch. Climate and humanitarian concerns continue dominating international headlines. The United Nations World Food Program is warning that a rapidly strengthening El Niño could become one of the most powerful weather events in decades. The agency says as many as 49 million additional people could face acute hunger over the next 2 years due to droughts, floods, and disruptions to agriculture across vulnerable regions. Europe continues dealing with extreme heat, drought, and wildfire conditions while governments monitor water supplies and agricultural production. Diplomatic efforts also continue regarding conflicts in Eastern Europe and the Middle East as world leaders monitor energy supplies, shipping routes, and international security. Latin America and the Caribbean. Now here's your expanded report from across Latin America and the Caribbean. Mexico tourism remains strong across Mexico's Caribbean coast despite continued efforts to remove large amounts of sargassum seaweed washing ashore. Environmental crews continue cleanup operations to protect beaches and local businesses. Authorities also continue security operations targeting organized crime in several regions: Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador. Governments across Central America are increasing preparations for what forecasters believe could become a very strong El Niño event. Experts warn that prolonged drought could threaten agriculture, drinking water, and food production throughout the region. Belize continues reporting a healthy tourism season while emergency officials monitor tropical weather across the Caribbean. Costa Rica continues expanding renewable energy projects and sustainable tourism while maintaining its reputation as one of Latin America's environmental leaders. The Panama Canal continues operating near normal capacity as global shipping companies monitor international trade patterns and fuel costs. Cuba continues experiencing fuel shortages, rolling blackouts, and economic pressures. Authorities continue efforts to stabilize the island's electrical grid. Haiti. International aid organizations remain active in Haiti as humanitarian and security challenges continue affecting communities across the country. Dominican Republic. Tourism continues to drive economic growth while emergency agencies prepare for increased tropical activity during the peak of hurricane season. Puerto Rico. Emergency management officials continue encouraging residents to update emergency kits and family preparedness plans ahead of potential tropical systems. Jamaica and Bahamas. Both countries continue enjoying a strong tourism season while closely monitoring Atlantic weather developments. Trinidad and Tobago. Energy exports remain a key driver of the nation's economy as global oil and natural gas prices continue fluctuating. Colombia authorities continue anti-crime operations while preparing security measures ahead of future national political events. Venezuela recovery efforts continue following the devastating earthquakes earlier this summer, while international discussions continue regarding the country's political future and reconstruction efforts. Guyana remains one of the world's fastest-growing economies as offshore oil production continues fueling investment in roads, schools, healthcare, and housing.
Ecuador. Security remains a top priority as Ecuador expands police and military operations against organized crime. Peru. Peru's government continues focusing on economic growth, investment, and public safety as it works to strengthen confidence in the country's economy. Argentina. Argentina continues working to reduce inflation while encouraging investment and expanding agricultural exports. Brazil. Brazil's presidential campaign continues gathering momentum, with candidates focusing heavily on economic growth, public safety, taxation, and international trade ahead of October's election. Money and markets. Investors continue watching inflation, employment, and central bank policy around the world. Oil prices remain sensitive to geopolitical developments, while economists warn that a powerful El Niño could place additional pressure on global food prices if agricultural production is disrupted across Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Weather Watch. Forecasters continue monitoring tropical conditions across the Atlantic as the hurricane season enters one of its most active periods. Meanwhile, Europe remains under the grip of dangerous heat and drought, while climate experts warn that El Niño may increase the risk of drought in Central America and heavier rainfall across parts of South America in the months ahead. Sports World. Major League Baseball continues with a full slate of games as teams battle for playoff positioning. Around the sports world, Leagues Cup soccer continues across North America. ATP and WTA tennis tournaments remain underway in Canada, and football fans are looking ahead to tomorrow night's NFL Hall of Fame game, which officially kicks off the preseason. And today's dumbass of the day. Today's dumbass of the day goes to the guy who spent 15 minutes arguing with customer service because his smart speaker stopped listening, only to discover he had unplugged it while vacuuming the day before. Sometimes, before blaming technology, make sure it's actually plugged in. Congratulations, you're today's dumbass of the day. And in closing, those are today's top stories. I'm Jack Storm, and you've been listening to World News in 5 on L Radio Phoenix. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, like this video, leave a comment, share it with your family and friends. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily news, music, the joke of the day, and original programming, streaming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and stay blessed. We thank you for making L Radio Phoenix part of your day.